high performance luxury center console. So you get speed and comfort right off the bat.
They've been building great sailing vessels or performance sailing vessels since 1966.
Right.
So they have some pedigree within themselves as well. But now they're getting into building powerboats.
Welcome to another episode of the Southern Boating Podcast. I'm Ian Sneed.
I'm James Anderson.
And this is actually a special series that we're putting on for you. I started with my podcast intro. It's a special series that we're putting on for you about the Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show. We're going to be doing 3 boats or 3 manufacturers that are going to be at FLIBS, and we're going to be doing a quick little preview of what they're bringing to the show so that you can do your research in advance. Yes. That way, when you get to the show, you can actually kind of navigate it in a much more educated fashion.
Well, you know what you're going to be looking for, right?
Exactly.
Or some things that you didn't know that you were looking for, now you know.
You're going to know. So with that, in this episode, we're going to be talking about Grady-White.
So we're going to talk about Grady-White's new models or changes to some of their models.
Right.
We're going to talk about
a new version of a Mystic model.
Correct. And then a new boat to the United States, the Nautor Swan.
Right. So with that, I want to remind you to subscribe to the channel because we're putting these out daily. So you'll get the notifications also. That way you'll get notified every time the video comes live. Subscribe to the channel and click the like button. If you don't like the episode, you can take the like back at the end. Okay. We won't take it personal. We'll just cry at night and not tell anybody.
You can cry. You'll hurt my feelings, but I'm not going to cry.
So with that, let's kick it off. I'm going to let James kick it off with Grady-White.
So Grady-White has got some new additions. They have made some changes to the Canyon 306 and the Canyon 325, which is a new windshield.
Right.
And this offers number one, it's like a wraparound windshield almost. So it covers up some of the pillars, offers a new look for it, more sporty, more stylish, but it's green tinted laminated safety glass. So it's what they used on some of the other models. But they also made some changes to the helm and positioning of some of the gauges and equipment up there. So it allows it for something else that you want to add on to be more in front of you. So it's easier sight lines, right? Which is really, really interesting. And I've got to say, Grady-White does an excellent job of making a model and reiterating that model several times over and just constantly paying attention to what works, what doesn't work, and refining it. And to me, that's rather important because number one, that means that they listen to their consumers, which is awesome. How many people do we know that don't listen, Ian?
I'm just sitting here, man.
Just to fill you in, I had a conversation with Ian earlier, and he admitted that he doesn't listen to me sometimes.
Intentionally, doesn't he?
Yeah, intentionally does not listen to me. Payback will come.
Sure.
But anyways, all of these changes are really quite interesting. It's going to change the look of the boat a little bit. It's going to offer some more functionality and really increase the usability of the boat. So I am interested to see these changes in person. Grady-White will be in the convention center, in which we will actually go over there and get some shots for you guys. So stay tuned for in the future so you can see what some of these new looks are as we tour the boat show.
Yeah, because with that said, we're going to be updating our YouTube as much as possible during the show. Now, granted, there's a lot going on, but even if you're not able to attend FLIBS and you want to see some of the stuff that we're talking about, you should be able to get to see a decent amount of it because we'll upload, if not during the show, then very shortly thereafter. You'll still get the ins and outs.
Yep, because I'll walk Ian all over the show.
All over the show. That's right.
Now, up next is a model that, number one, you've been on this boat.
Yes.
You've been on an iteration of this boat, right? We've gone on trips with them. We've had a lot of fun with Mystic over the years. So tell us a little bit about what Mystic's going on for FLIBS this year.
Absolutely. So I'll start off by saying I am a little biased because I really like Mystic. Okay. I like Mystic. I like John. I like the family, the employees at Mystic, everyone that I've met. They're all incredible people. So even if I didn't know them because of business. I would promote them just because they're such great people. But that greatness that is, who they are is transferred into the brand and the boats that they build, like without question. And that's, I think, something that stands out for me with Mystic. With this 5200 XL cabin, we went on the original 5200 over to the Bahamas with them. And this XL cabin actually adds more space. So I took down notes. It's 4 feet longer, right? It has a larger head and shower, and with more ample storage as well. Now, there was already plenty of space in that cabin because there were a couple of, full-grown men that were able to fit in there and move around comfortably. So the fact that you have an extra 4 feet is a dramatic increase.
And that's a lot of space.
It's a lot of space. We know that Mystic builds high-performance luxury center consoles. That's the best way to describe them in my head. High-performance luxury center consoles. So you get speed and comfort right off the bat. Now, this boat is 53 feet length overall and 14-foot beam. It has abundant seating. There's triple loungers in front of the center console. They have JL audio. They have a summer kitchen. There's enough space here to entertain a large party, a large family, and to really go anywhere because they have a 650-gallon fuel tank. The cool thing about Mystic is they take everything into account as they build their vessel. The 650-gallon fuel tank can go to the standard quad 600 Mercury engines, which provide you with 60 mile per hour cruising speed and over 80 mile per hour top speed. And when we rode with John, he was not shy about using that speed. And you could see how well it handled. And it was so comfortable at those speeds. It blew my mind. It really blew my mind. It was a great introduction to the recreational boating industry.
That was your first trip when you came over to Southern Boating.
Yep.
It was.
It was my first trip.
We threw you right into it right away.
Right in. I
don't think you were here but 2 weeks and we threw you into it.
I was so overwhelmed. I was so overwhelmed.
I think I came into your office one day and be like, do you have a passport?
And I was like, yes. But also it's the fact that they were so kind, so inviting, and so helpful in understanding because they were willing to teach me everything and anything that I wanted to know. And I noticed that John was like that with every single Mystic owner. Yes. Like he was like, they would ask him questions and he knew everything. Like
he loves to help them.
If I remember right, Greg, the sales manager,
correct.
They're both incredible, very knowledgeable, very on top of it. The cool thing is if you want more speed, which I know there's some people that do want more speed, they have options of 5 or 6 Mercury Racing 500Rs that they could put, plus a full carbon fiber hull and deck. So you can really get flying on these Mystics.
Wow, that would be really impressive.
It's like as fast as we were going, it's wild to think what they can do.
Full carbon fiber and 6 500s.
Wow. Oh, man. So if you're at FLIBS, go check out Mystic. I can guarantee you will enjoy the experience.
So the next one I'm going to go over is something that's new to us. That's a company that's been around for a little while. It is Nautor Swan. They've been building great sailing vessels or performance sailing vessels since 1966.
Right.
So they have some pedigree within themselves as well. But now they're getting into building powerboats. We're talking about the Nautor Swan Shadow. I believe this is the 42. Correct, the 42. And this is an walk-around style, or we call them sometimes center consoles, but this is more of the walk-around.
Right.
And it is absolutely elegantly designed because when you look at it, you just have to say, wow, that's very, very interesting.
It's Italian designed, right? It's Italian?
I believe so.
Yeah, if I remember right, it was Italian. It's an Italian designed company.
Yes,
and they're correct. They're extremely well known in Europe.
In Europe, absolutely.
Yeah, extremely.
I said, they've been building high performance sailing vessels since 1966, and now they're using that same mantra to build into the powerboat. So you see some of the same styling cues come over, which to me is very interesting. I've always thought that sailing vessels have some interesting designs to them.
That's true.
And why you don't see enough of it flow over into the powerboat segment. But now you're going to see some of the things that are really interesting with this. Number one, there is no step up on the decks or anything like that. Mm-hmm. So it's all one level. The thing that I also am very interested to see is it's got a modular deck design. So some of the options are you can have a fighting chair, you can have a summer kitchen, and you can swap some of these things out. What's really interesting with this is now imagine the guy that has space for just one tender, but he wants a tender that does multiple things. It can be a weekend boat. It can be, just your tender to take you to harbor,
you could use
or it could be your fishing tender, right? So now you have one tender that can satisfy multiple things, which is very, very interesting to me. I like that idea, how it's modular. The other thing is that it has an open transom. So you can walk straight out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then also when you get back towards the engines, which are triples, and you have an option with this either trip 250s or trip 350s, which is very interesting. But it's got a walk around on all of them. So it actually allows you more space towards the transom, right?
I think that was the design element that stood out to me from this vessel was the walk around around
the outboards.
Around the outboards, yeah. I was like, oh, that's fun.
It's a different look. And you look at it at first and you're like, But then they add to this. So at the backside of them, that platform will not only lower like a swim platform, but also raise up so you can get onto a dock easier.
That's awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
Really cool. Different way of utilizing equipment like that. And I kind of like it.
It's innovative or inventive.
It's very inventive.
Inventive.
Right? Some of the other things that I noticed are, so we're starting with this, is that it is the Shadow Swan 42 is 43 feet and 5 inches in length and a 14-foot 4-inch beam. So it's relatively pretty wide at that point in time. And then it's got a twin-stepped V-hull at 20 degrees. And it can reach speeds of upwards of 50 knots with the optional 350s.
That's awesome.
So this has got some speed to it as well. Not like a Mystic by any means. But, I mean, still, to be able to enjoy it, that's pretty cool. And then it's got a lot more tricks. So we are definitely going to go check this one out. That's our 3 boats today. I'm James Anderson.
I'm Ian Sneed.
We'll see you tomorrow.
With 3 new boats.
You just had to add that.
I did.
Well, you just admitted that sometimes you don't listen.
Yes.
And you do it on purpose.
Yes.
And that... What else did you just admit to?
If you can't remember, why am I going to tell you? I would have made a great politician.
I would never vote for you.
I doubt that.
I'm not listening.
That's okay.
I refuse to listen now.
Are you ready to get started or what? Ready?
No.
How about now?
Maybe. Okay, you can go. What are you waiting for?
I'm trying to catch my breath after laughing.
God, you're slow.